Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at the final Mega EXs from, well, what for us is going to be Mega Evolution. The final two Mega EXs have gone and been revealed, and quite frankly, well, one of them I quite like. And one of them I really like. So let's start there, having a look at Mega Manectric. Oh, by the way, there's also a stadium card, which we need to talk about right now. Well, after the Mega EXs, which it's not exactly the same as it used to be. It's not far off, ladies and gentlemen. It is not far off. So, Mega Manectric then, what have we got? Well, 330 HP is high for a stage 1, but it is a Mega EX, so that's kind of expected. And we've got 2 lightning energy, 120 damage. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon. And this is one of those where it really depends on what you're playing against. Like, if you're against something like a Raging Bolt deck, sure, they can be teching in evolution Pokemon, but that's not really what the deck wants to do. Against Raging Bolt, and bearing in mind, right, this attack, it gives you protection from all basic Pokemon next turn. It's not the basic Pokemon you hit or anything like that. It is protection from all basic Pokemon. The damage here is fine. It's all right. It'll do. That's not really the point. The point of this attack is that against an all basic deck, you use this once and that just locks them out of the game. You then just do it every turn, and they just never can attack you, and you win the game from there. Against other decks, it can buy you a little bit of time. It can force your opponent to have to go and get evolutions, which they might not have been preparing for, etc. It can buy you time, and it can absolutely win you games if you run your opponent out of resources. But a lot of the time, the main use for this is going to be, you know what? You're playing an all-basic deck. Now I win. Second attack here, free lightning energy, 200 damage. You may discard all energy from this Pokemon if you like, and if you do 130 more damage. And this is a very nice attack. Partly, you don't have to discard here. This is an optional thing. And this is wonderful, because a lot of the time, 200 damage is going to be enough. There are a lot of Pokemon out there that will be KO'd by 200 damage, and if you have to discard every single time, it gets really super annoying. Having the option to discard or not is a massive advantage. But if you're faced with someone that's got 330 HP or, thereabouts, this is going to be wonderful. And right now, think of things like Dragapult sitting there at 320. Yeah. That'll do quite nice. Your Gardevoir sitting there at 310. There are basically stage 2 EXs. You'll get the odd 330 HP Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but the majority of these, most of these, you're going to be able to get with this. And the other thing we would look at traditionally is we would look at this and go, well, it's free lightning energy, that can be a bit awkward, but we've got Electric Generator, an item card that can help to accelerate energy. That'll do quite nicely. Or maybe we can go for Magneton that KOs itself, but then accelerates energy, free energy, which will be enough, which will be lovely. But honestly, nowadays, we've got Electric. Electric came around in Black Bolt and White Flare. So, yeah, that can just accelerate energy every turn from the discard. So it's another one of those where lightning energy now, we've gotten to a really nice point where we're good. We've got plenty of energy acceleration that we can use for these lightning Pokemon, so don't even worry about it. And now we got 2 attacks, one of which is giving you protection against these basic Pokemon, and the other of which is going to do big damage and go and get key KOs. Like, either way around, you're doing pretty well here. This is going beautifully. Love this Pokemon, giving it 4 Wassies, and I honestly think it could end up being a little bit better than that. It's got 2 very useful attacks. It's got high HP. It's got a lot that we can start getting on board with. But there is another Mega Pokemon coming. It's one we knew we were coming and we'd kind of seen it, but it was way too blurry to read. Well, now we got a good look, and it's not too blurry to read It's Abomasnow. And what we got from Abomasnow here is 350 HP on a stage 1. Yes, these Mega Pokemon HPs are getting a little bit out of hand. And we've got 2 energy, discard the top 6 cards of your deck, and you deal 100 damage for each basic water energy discarded in this way. So this is one of those where it depends how you build your deck. If you build your deck well enough to have enough energy in there to put the odds in your favor, you're going to go and do gigantic damage, and that's going to be lovely. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Now, if you hit free energy off this, you're going to do 300. That's actually not too shabby. But honestly, we'd still like to do a little bit more if we could, because there's a lot of Pokemon around right now that have more than 300. So this is one of those, if you build your deck to the point where you've got enough energy, you're going to hit it enough, this can be an absolutely brutal attack. Otherwise, it's still kind of fun. Then we got free water energy, 200 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. I like the idea that you've got 350 HP and you're taking 30 less damage from attacks. I think that's lovely. I think that's going to give you quite a lot of survivability. But I do also look at this, and there's so many of these Mega Pokemon, like the Mega Manectric I just mentioned, that look like they can be legit, really good special cards. And I look at Abomasnow, and Abomasnow looks fine. It's all right. But I don't think it's that special. I think you can make it so the first attack is more often than not going to do huge damage, and that's going to be fun. And I think that this second attack can give you decent survivability, but not above some of the other Pokemon we've seen, so I'm not as excited about this as I am for Manectric. Let's go ahead and give this a nice, ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill, free Wassies. But I did promise you a new stadium as well. Yeah, it's not quite the one you're going to think it is, but it is not a million miles away. We've got ourselves Vitality Stadium. It is not a reprint of Forest of Giant Plants. It is a slightly nerfed version of Forest of Giant Plants. But make no mistake about it, this is a ridiculous card that people are going to love. What we've got here is a stadium that says each player's grass Pokemon can evolve on the turn they were played into grass Pokemon, except on that player's first turn. Now, there are 2 major differences between this and Forest of Giant Plants. Number 1, this does not allow you to evolve on that player's first turn. Forest of Giant Plants had no such limitation. Forest of Giant Plants just let you evolve whenever you felt like it. Any grass Pokemon could evolve. That was very, very big. So the fact that you cannot evolve on your first turn makes it weaker than Forest of Giant Plants. Okay. The other thing that makes it weaker is that it only allows grass Pokemon to evolve into grass Pokemon, and if you look back at Forest of Giant Plants, that let your grass Pokemon evolve. Take Grubbin and Charjabug, for instance. Charjabug's a lightning Pokemon, but Grubbin is a grass Pokemon. So you would be able to evolve Grubbin into a Charjabug using Forest of Giant Plants to get that Vikavolt out a turn early. You would not be able to do that with Vitality Forest here, because you have to evolve a grass into a grass. So, look, there are 2 ways in which this is weaker than Forest of Giant Plants, all right? I have said that, I have acknowledged it. That is a fact, incidentally. It is a nerfed version of Forest of Giant Plants, okay? It is just not that big a nerf. It's not the kind of nerf that makes me go, well, I'm never playing that again. It's a kind of nerf that makes me go, no, I can play with that. I'd rather it was old school Forest of Giant Plants, don't get me wrong, but I can absolutely play with this. If you're playing an Evolution Grass deck, this is an absolute no-brainer. It makes absolutely everyone better. It's awesome. And don't forget that Mega Venusaur is in this set. Now, I'm not saying that Mega Venusaur is suddenly going to become a massive player because of this. We're going to have to wait and see. But I absolutely can tell you that I like Mega Venusaur a lot more when I can just evolve straight up into it, have it going immediately. That makes me feel a lot happier. We still need to get all the grass energy on the board, but come on. Now, it is also worth noting that when we had Forest of Giant Plants before, that was a phenomenal card, alright? It was one of the best cards, one of the best stadiums we've ever seen. But let's not forget, it had stuff like Vileplume. And Vileplume was there which blocked trainer card or item cards. So you could just go straight up into Vileplume, and you could potentially go first, and with the right opening hand, just go bam, 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 Vileplume, boom, no items for you for the rest of the game. Decidueye was the other one back then, which really was just an over-the-top ridiculous card. And Decidueye let you drop extra damage counters, so you could potentially evolve up multiple Decidueye nice and quickly and start getting damage down super early. Do we have any grass Pokemon along those lines in the game right now? I'm not entirely sure we do, but you basically need to be watching this for forever now. By the way, I know we do have Meowscarada. Meowscarada is not the same as Decidueye was. Although it might be one to now keep an eye on, now that we can evolve it up immediately, maybe Meowscarada does become a lot better than it was before, but you have to discard an energy card from your hand in order to make it work. It's not as easy to make roll, but it's dropping damage counters. I'm not saying it's going to work, but I absolutely am saying people are going to be testing it very, very heavily. Every grass evolution Pokemon just got a whole bunch better. And remember, it's not just the ones that we know now, it's any that might be released in the future. This is a hands down, no question, flat out 5 Wassy card. So there we go. I've told you about the new Mega EXs. I've told you about the new but not really new stadium. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And please do remember that with the new YouTube algorithm, likes and comments mean so much more than they did before, so please drop a like and comment down below, it would mean a lot. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.